Hi felters and welcome. Today we're going to do 4 different types of whiskers for my Romeo rabbit. I made him from a World of Wool kit, which I'll link the video at the end, and I was really pleased with him. So I haven't done his whiskers and we're going to go through 4 different types. Let's get started. So first off is just embroidery thread. I think this method is, if you haven't got anything in the house suitable and you really want to get it done, this would be great. So take out a strand. There's normally about 6 or 8 strands within there. You could use sort of sewing thread as well, which would be nice and fine. So I split it down and I had 2 threads on there, and then I put them through onto a needle, and the needle is it's not that sharp, it's quite a big thick needle, but it still managed to go through. And you see I've done some already, so they're okay, but they are not very straight, and they look a bit floppy. You could put a bit of PVA glue on them to sort of straighten them out and put them in a shape once you've done them, but if you haven't got anything in the house, they will kind of work. And I've seen some traditional kits with rabbits, they put embroidery thread in and that's how they do the whole kit. So that is a first off, very simple, and then you put a tiny bit of glue. We'll do the glue later. I just use an all-purpose glue, but I'll show you how I do it a bit later on. You put it right at the base. So there we go, the fun bit. Let's pull them out onto the next one. So the next one is beading wire or jewelry wire, or even you could substitute it for fishing wire, fishing line. It's really quite thin. You can get it in a white or a black or a brown probably as well. I don't think it's too expensive. I think it would be no more than £8 to £10. You just look on Amazon, put beading wire in. It is incredibly strong because I used to make jewellery, so I know it's very, very strong. But beading wire is quite good actually. It's quite manageable. So when I put it on the needle and I fold it over, it does as it's told. It sort of retains the shape that you put it in. So it's quite easy to work with, which is nice. So again, same thing. Just get the needle and you just post it through. And the beading wire is nice and fine. It's not a problem pulling it through the nose. Put it to the length you want. Trim it, and then we'd do the glue. So the beading wire, even once it goes in, I think I'll do another one, but even once it goes in, it's quite movable, so you can point it down if you want it down. The next one we do in a minute with the horsehair is quite wild. so if you get hold of it, put it to the length you want obviously, and then you can trim it. Always do it longer, and then you're fine, you've got plenty left over. But I could sort of bend it down quite well. It behaved, and I quite liked it, and it gave a really good look. So, and then again, a little bit of glue at the base will work really well. Let's pull them out and go on to the next one. So this is horsehair, and I bought this off Etsy. I was a bit lazy. I do have some people with horses nearby that I know, but they're not grey horses. If you want white, it's called grey hair. All horses are called, if they're white, they're called greys. So you can go to a stables and ask, and they might look at you a bit funny, but it's absolutely fine. It falls out naturally as well. Or if they trim the tail for this stuff that they actually sell, then it doesn't hurt the horse at all. So it was a little bit, I lost that bit just then. It's very thin, it's very fine, and it was harder to control. So I popped it in and keep an eye on it, hold on to it, and then just trim it off where you want it. Same again. So it was a lot finer than the beading wire. And I'll show you in a sec. I put some beading wire. So that top one there I'm holding now is beading wire, so it's a bit thicker. And then you can see that the horsehair is a lot finer. So if you want the fine look, you're going to go with the horsehair, and there again you can see the difference. That's the beading wire, the big white one there. And then the horsehair's at the front. So the next method is Wendys Whiskers. I call it that because I've seen Wendy from Wendy's Felt Happy It's her YouTube channel. She has done this method and I have not seen it anywhere else before, and she calls it Wendys Whiskers. So she's very kindly said I can use it. And she does a hare, which is 2D, and then it's got whiskers coming out of the picture. It's amazing. So you get feathers, and again I just ordered these from Etsy, and you take the feathery bits off and you're going to use the bit in the middle, which I'm not sure what it's called, but when I put her video at the end, have a look, because honestly her hair picture is absolutely stunning. So you pull the feathers off either side. She said otherwise the quill bit or the bit in the middle might break, and you get left with this beautiful long, and it's, I mean, if you're doing cat's whiskers, it's absolutely perfect. Or if you're doing, because I do put it in my hair, and they are the easiest to work with, and they were the easiest to put in, especially with the glue, and they were the most secure, but they were a bit big for my hair. But they're very good to use if say definitely for a cat's whiskers, they'd look perfect. And they had a lovely curve to them. So strip it all off, and then I cut the last little bit at the end. I couldn't quite get off, so I just give it a trim, and then I trimmed the other end so it was nice and neat, and I didn't want the thickness. It was quite thick there, so you just trim it down a bit, and then that's all ready. So prepare a couple of those. See that? It's a lovely shape, beautiful. And here we go, I've put one in, and you can see it's a bit thick for my hair, but I'll just show you how I did it. So I've got this owl tool just there on the table. It's called AWL, but you should say awl apparently, but I keep saying it wrong. And so you make a little hole with the awl tool, and then you're going to get a tiny bit of glue. There we go, make sure the hole's there. Get a tiny bit of glue on the end of the whisker, and then just pop it in. And it was the easiest to do, actually. I think this is a fantastic method, and they do look really, really good. And so the hole's there, it finds it really well, in it goes, and it's all secure and done. So there's two, and you can twist them round and move them how you want. So I'll just show you again. Just do the little hole, pop them in. But yeah, do have a look. Wendy's 2D felted hair is stunning, and I think she should do more videos. She's really, really good. There we go, tiny bit of glue again. I just sort of am popping it in the tube. It's probably the best way to do it. It's not much, and it's, like I said, it's an all-purpose glue, and my hands are in the way. There we go, pop it in. And then twist it round. This was, I mean, if I'd have gone for the smaller feathers, it might have worked and it might have looked all right. There we go, so I did one more, but they've got a lovely curve to them, lovely shape. So thank you so much, Wendy, for letting me show this method. So I decided they were too big, so I'm going to pull them out, which was very easy to do, and I went with the horsehair because it's nice and fine. So it came in quite long strands, so I put one long strand on a needle, and then I've sewn it through several times without cutting it, so it was a lot quicker basically. So I've left loops, so go backwards and forwards several times, and then you can just cut those loops. And I think I did about 4 or 5 whiskers on each side, but I really think that the fine look, despite the fact that they're quite wild and they sort of go where they want to go, worked the best for the rabbit. So there we go, that's a long one, that was the end bit. So just trim them to size, probably leave them a little bit longer than you want before you glue them in case you move them at all. There you go, and I've trimmed the loops. So the gluing, I didn't like doing this. I don't like putting glue onto my lovely needle felted items. So I got a tiny little, this is a kebab stick actually, but it had a point, and I got a tiny bit of glue, and then I just rolled it in right on the ends. And if there was any glue, because it's quite tricky, it sort of sticks, and you sort of have to hold the whiskers as you do it, so you don't pull them out as you pull away. And any of the glue that was excess or too much, I managed to trim away a little bit very gently so I didn't cut the whiskers. You know, And they were secure after that. Would they stay if a child went up and pulled them out? I don't think so, but they were pretty secure. They weren't going to fall out. Now this is just to show you as well, I did the beading wire because it was easier. If you put a couple of knots in the middle of it and then put it through, this gives you some resistance and it helps it stay in. I still think you need to glue as well, but it's good because they don't accidentally fall out whilst you're doing them. So that knot is right in the middle there, and I thought that was quite good. So I do pull that out in a minute. I was just showing you how to put the knot. When I knotted the horsehair kept breaking, so that's why I did it on the beading wire. So there he is, all done. And like I said, horsehair for me worked really well. Beading wire, embroidery, or Wendys feathers. So I hope you have found this useful. It's good to see how it's done and how to glue it, but there he is on the shelf with all the others. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below if you found this good, and thanks so much. See you soon.